Dean Daniel here. It's been a difficult week for me. Tabletop Tim reported me to the police for beef smuggling. I didn't even know that was a crime. Please, patrons, Hedwig Carlo, a socialist hobgoblin, help. I don't even know how this all started. I don't even know what I did. Anyone, please help me. Enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome to the Probably Bad Podcast, a podcast which is definitely bad. I don't know why I'm talking in this news presenter voice, but I'm Mod Pencil.
Paper, and I'm not a news presenter. Today's probably bad RPG idea is your PC's enchanting sword has been disenchanted. It used to believe in your heroic mission, but now it's not strong. Would like some time alone before it slays any more goblins.
This is the reason why all items should be intelligent. You are a hero, you got a sword, you got a shield, you got a suit of armor. You've got to persuade all of them to go along with your quest or they'll just refuse to stab people.
Yeah, I do feel like this is a problem with sentient weapons that isn't often explored, which is just what if they have a different agenda to you? Like they
Yeah.
can't do anything about it because they're also inanimate, but they're sentient and they have complaints.
Yeah, I think I don't know if sentient weapons can they can refuse to use their magical powers at least. So you're just swinging a normal sword. I
So
think
it's almost a form of passive resistance. It's just like, well, you
mm,
can swing me, but I'm not gonna help.
yeah. I also feel it should be enchanted so it can grow arm.
Why?
Then it can punch you or scuttle away on its arms. This is
So
my
you
new
is this all sentient items or just if they become so against what you're doing, they just
all
grow
sen-
limbs?
all sentient items. This is my sword, the sword of arms. Instead of stabbing people, it's just got
A
15 arms, and as you swing it, they punch you. I didn't realize the pun, but thank you. This is my sentient magical weapon, Greg. I'm grabbing him by the legs and swinging him at people. He's a wizard.
I mean, I have been in a D&D session where someone picked up one quickling and threw them at another quickling.
I think enchanted swords need rights. Sentient magical items are really weird as a concept when you think about it.
Yeah, like, the fact that they are inanimate, just, like, their life must be pain.
Yeah, just you're a cup and that's your life. You're a cup in a dungeon.
My question is, like, this the what if all magic items are sentient and we just don't know because most of them can't speak?
That would be interesting. You cast detect thoughts, and just as a joke, you cast it on your potion, and it starts screaming at you not to drink it.
Except that one potion that's weirdly into it.
Yeah, luckily all potions are sentient, but also all potions are massively into it. They're all incredibly down to be drunk.
Think this might be the one case where we can accurately say, "Is this war?"
Enchantment of drink me, daddy. But yes.
But
So
actually, that is a thing. At at the start, we assumed that the enchanted sword in question can speak, but what if it can't? It's just there like, "You know what? I'm not gonna glow in the presence of goblins. Maybe I want them to get you."
okay, so you're an adventurer. You got a magic sword, and only this magic sword can defeat the big bad. But also, it's incredibly passive aggressive and can't communicate. So you need to figure out what it wants based on when it does and doesn't use its powers, and use that to keep it happy so you can kill the big
I love it. It's like Blue's Clues.
bad.
This sword gives you clues by pointing at things or glowing or, like,
Mm,
deciding when to work and not work, and
yeah.
then you have to put the clues together to figure out what it wants.
You have a suit of armor and it can only communicate by charades, but obviously it can't move by itself, so you have to go in the suit of armor and move around randomly, and when it doesn't stop you moving, will put you in the charades positions it's trying to get across.
I like this. This feels like a motion detecting game.
Yeah,
Like you get in the right position and the armor just like glows for a second. Like, yeah, you got it.
this is my magical suit of armor, it has motion controls. I guess technically suits of armor do have motion controls, technically
All
speaking.
clothing has motion control.
I would make just random things sentient if I was making magical items.
Well, yeah, but you are a chaos goblin.
That is true. Like, I think there should just be like a single sentient hat.
Just somewhere in the world.
Yeah.
Does it have any other abilities or does it
No.
just it's just
It,
aware of what's happening to it at all
yeah.
times?
It's just constantly screaming on the inside.
Do sentient magical items feel pain?
I mean, I would assume so. Well, you can
Like, if
damage
that
them.
sentient hat becomes damaged, does it feel that?
Like, I
If
would
it's
have to
being
assume
repaired,
so.
does it feel itself being sewn?
I feel like, yeah, it must do. This is our hat of eternal agony.
I wonder if you can dip, like, a damaged sentient magical item in a healing potion to fix it.
Mm.
Because, like, where do you draw the line between a person and an object? Like, is a sentient object a person?
I mean, I feel it's a person. Like, what if the healing item is the healing potion is sentient? And then it's just continuously healing itself.
I think what you've invented there is the worst possible way to create infinite healing potions.
So all you need to do is keep stabbing the healing potion, and then when it heals itself, it will produce more healing potion.
I mean, I was just thinking, you drink some of it and then it fills itself back up, but I'm intrigued by the concept of stabbing a liquid.
You just stab it. Yeah, okay, so you have an infinite healing potion. It's always there. Admittedly, it is constantly screaming and begging for death. But once you get past that, it's an infinite healing potion.
Well, that's why you keep it in your bag of holding. It's sentient, but it doesn't need to breathe, so you put it in there, you can't hear it screaming.
Mm. The bag of holding is also sentient. Like, I don't like how many things can be sentient in D&D.
I mean, according to like the Dungeon Master's Guide, you can theoretically make anything sentient. This is the
Yeah,
problem.
like it's you have no idea whether or not the chair you're sitting on is like able to form hatred of you. You're just sitting there going about your life and you have no idea that your glasses hate you as a human being.
Pretty sure mine does. It's the only explanation for how much they try and fall off my face.
I'm sorry that you and your glasses are not friends. It's like the mimic thing of like, you
Mm.
know, everything you own could be a mimic. And everything you own could be an sentient life form. Anyone you know could be mind controlled. Like people don't like consider how terrifying the D&D world is.
Here's a question: if you kill a mimic,
Yeah.
does it? Because I don't have the monster manual to hand. If you kill a mimic, does it become like does it go back to some base shape or does it just become a dead object?
I think I believe canonically it sort of goes to a combination of its base shape and the thing it last transformed to, so a pile of spongy wood.
So do you think if you killed a chest mimic, you could then turn that body into a functional chest?
I think so. You just you kill a chest mimic. You put you kill a chest mimic. You take the body, you taxiderm the body, now you got a chest, then you enchant it to be magical, and then you enchant it to be sentient. Now you've got a needlessly horrific boss.
Okay, but turning dead mimics into sentient magic items makes so much sense. I might have to make it canon in my setting.
Yeah. And like all sentient magic items are just haunted by mimic ghosts.
A mimic ghost is actually kind of terrifying because I have to assume it would retain some level of shapeshifting ability,
Yeah,
so
what
it
it
could
is.
turn into other ghosts.
That's all like you go to sit down on your chair, you fall right through it because it's intangible, and then it eats you.
I see nothing wrong with this.
But yeah, all magic items come from the same like so there's just one giant mimic and you cut bits of it off and you make those into magic.
Side quest idea. Your party has to go and kill a mimic in order to create this legendary sentient sword.
I feel you could add a few steps here and just ask the mimic to be a sword.
No, because a mimic of a sword is just like a meaty sword that can chomp.
And then you enchant it.
This is inserting the mimic's soul into a really strong sword to make it a super magical sentient sword.
That is true, but also, can you enchant a mimic that's turned into a sword? And then you have a vorpal mimic.
Feel like as a player, I would definitely want to be able to do that. As a DM, I would absolutely not want my players to do that.
Plus free mimic. It's just
So I'm
free
torn.
it's just free better than any other mimic.
3 units.
Yeah, it's free mimic goods.
3 mimic goods.
Ooh, you could cast dancing mimic and then you just have a little mimic doing a boogie.
That's my favorite minor illusion.
Dancing mimic is a 9th level spell. I feel like before we go through every single enchantment in the book and how they would work on a mimic, Ghost Touch Mimic.
If you want us to do that,
New,
then message us and we will make it an episode.
new bonus episode. We enchant mimics. Mimics, will it blend?
Will it enchant?
we cast the dancing enchantment on different magical creatures. Like you presumably cast it on like a construct, because that's just an item.
See, now we've gone full circle now back to, is a sentient item a person?
Yeah,
Can you be an object and a person?
could
Because they're discrete categories of things magic will affect,
yeah.
but there's nothing saying that you can't be both.
Hmm.
Is a construct both?
I think like yeah. I mean, a sentient construct is presumably a person. It has like a soul and all that.
But also, is a person an object? We're just meat with a ghost in it.
That is true. Like, and by the way, that like canonically they're created by like you take a spirit from the elemental planes, and then you basically lobotomize it, and then you stick it in the body, in the statue you made. And the reason they can easily get so aggressive is because they remember that they're trapped in like a stone body and go on a rampage.
Understandable.
Like, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, that's also quite horrific, along with the fact that there are sentient magical items. Um, yeah, the D&D world is surprisingly horrifying. Everything's either a mimic or internally screaming, especially me.
But yeah, if 3 people message or email us saying, "Do will it enchant?" We will do that as an episode.
Doppelgangers too, like everything in the D&D verse is horrifying.
At least we can definitively say doppelgangers are people and not
Doppelgangers are people.
objects,
You
apart
cannot
from to the extent that all people are also
you
objects.
cannot create a dancing doppelganger.
feel like you probably can as an illusion.
Hmm. Doppelgangers famously cannot and will not dance. If you suspect someone you know has been replaced by a doppelganger, for them to do the Macarena. If they say no, they are a doppelganger, and you are legally allowed to hit them with a frying pan.
So what you're saying is it's very lucky that I bullied Nick into learning the Macarena before our wedding, otherwise they might have been a doppelganger.
Yeah, yeah. This is how you can detect like all shapeshifters.
Sorry for calling you out like that, Nick. Anyway,
Like no
questions.
shapeshifter can do the Macarena. Be sure to check with everyone you know that they can do the Macarena.
We have questions. Um, Cobalt's various posts wants to know how many Geneva Convention articles can you violate with a single spell cast? Let's find out.
So we do have the Geneva Convention up because we are like planning this.
Yeah, so the main thing I noticed reading through the Geneva Convention articles is most of them are about who you can and can't hit.
Yeah,
So I feel like you can violate a surprising number just by targeting like 4 or 5 individuals.
yeah. Just cast Fireball in a hospital.
Well, the people you can't hit is non-combatants, um, kids, medical workers, people who are surrendering, prisoners of war. So if you have something that will hit 5 targets, which there's definitely spells that will do that, then you can violate 5 articles of the Geneva Convention at once with one spell.
Hmm. Like, so I feel actually that we're possibly taking this too literally. And the single use for spell that can violate most Geneva Conventions is suggestion, cast on a king, commit as many war crimes as possible.
You're a genius.
I
At
have just
that
by
point, is it you that's violating the Geneva Convention?
okay, possession or magic jar on a king and then commit as many war crimes as possible.
That one works. I like that. Could you
And
also just use prestidigitation to just put red crosses on every medical thing that you find?
I like the idea of using it to break Duke Convention, but in incredibly petty ways. What I think I would do, I would cast higher level summon monster, summon like a Balor, and then get it to put red crosses on everything that isn't like official Red Cross stuff. Like it's chaotic evil, it'll be down for it.
I feel like violating that specific
Mm,
Geneva Convention article, which I think is Protocol 3. Yeah, violating Protocol 3 of the Geneva Convention is possibly the most chaotic evil thing
hmm. Like
because it's the epitome of pointless evil.
it's also illegal to fake surrender, so you can violate the Geneva Convention by accidentally fireballing yourself in the face, and then when people come over to help you, fireballing them.
See, the problem is you've used the word accidentally there.
Hmm.
And I like there are crimes that you can do accidentally, but I don't think
Oh,
that
actually, that is a
this
fair
would
point.
be one. What you do is you cast Charm Person on your enemy, and if you succeed, you deck them.
Yeah.
That's false surrender.
Yes. No, I know how to do. So, like, it's illegal. No, it's not. Yes, it is. It's illegal to attack someone who's clearly injured and sick. So what you do is you accidentally cast fireball on yourself, and then when the enemies come over and start stabbing you, you have successfully committed, or at least allowed, a violation of the Geneva Convention.
See, I still don't think if something's an accident, it can count as false surrender.
No, it's not full surrender. It's attacking someone who is wounded and sick,
Oh, okay.
specifically you. It's in the same way you can like
See,
very
this is the same logic as Joan of Arc was a war criminal because she brought herself, a civilian, into combat.
yeah, like you can yeah,
'Cause
like
by
you're
that
technically
logic, everyone that signs up for the army is a war criminal.
like it's the same way you can very easily get involved in a mugging just by walking down a dark alleyway and loudly counting your money. Like Yeah, I think if we so yeah, I still feel possessing a king is the best way to commit war crimes. There's something that you're welcome to take out of context. Um,
You
uh,
didn't say it was a morally good way to do it, you just said it was efficient.
uh, yeah, it seems like a lot like it seems like a lot of the Geneva Convention is mostly who you can and can't commit war on rather than what things you do in war. So,
Well, yeah, it's like I said, it's who you can hit.
any spell can violate the Geneva Convention if you believe in yourself.
Any spell can violate the Geneva Convention if you use it on a child.
Yeah, it was nice having listeners. I
Again, can, not may. It's an important distinction.
I distinctly remember not being cancelled on Twitter. It was great. But anyway, yes, probably bad RPG idea. Cast Fireball on a 5-year-old. Right.
Um,
Hi, I'm Hazel, and I present.
Our next question is anonymous. How would you gradually change a D&D campaign until the players suddenly realize they've been playing a soap?
I feel like with most players, you've already got an advantage here because they all have tragic backstories,
Yeah.
much like soap characters.
Yeah, I think what you need to do. Okay. So you have them like go, okay, this is going to be quite a character heavy campaign. Could you cover some backstories and some NPCs I can work in? I'm like, okay, sure. And then you keep working those NPCs in, but in the most ludicrous ways possible. So it's like, I lost my wife and I'm trying to find her. Like, I lost contact with her after some tragedy or whatever, and I'm trying to find her. And it's like, you find her again, and they're like, woo. And it's like, you find her again, but this time she says that she's actually your mother. And then, oh no, you find her again, but she's actually 3 kobolds in a trench coat.
Shopkeeper that you mentioned in passing in your backstory is actually your long lost twin brother with
Yeah,
amnesia.
yeah, make every single NPC somehow related to the PCs. The big bad is actually your grandma. She just wants to tell you how much you've grown.
If the character dies, bring them back as an evil NPC who
Hmm.
faked their death so they could go and do evil.
Every child ages 1 year per session. I think
How is that a soap?
it's a soap opera thing, like because babies grow up very fast, and like soaps have like because of the way soaps do time versus the way actual babies do time. It's actual babies do time. It's a common like thing for children to age weirdly quickly because they're being swapped out for new actors.
I did not know that, but also I have watched approximately one episode of a soap.
I used to watch EastEnders. There is my tragic backstory.
Like I've heard a lot of episodes of The Archers because my parents listened to it when I was a kid. But you don't have to swap actors out as much for radio
Yeah,
because you don't
basic.
see them.
Yeah,
Like you just
so
have stock baby noises for as long as you need there to be a baby.
yeah, soaps have a lot of like swapping out actors. So I guess just replace one of your players with a different player and refuse to acknowledge that they're a different person.
Including like addressing them by the old player's
Yeah,
name.
yeah, like just hi, it's Tim, and then just like some completely different person walks in. See if you can convince your player base they're going mad, as people tend to do when they watch a lot of soap.
How is it we keep coming back to gaslighting people?
That's soap operas, baby.
For the ultimate soap opera, though, you need to separately gaslight the
Mm.
characters.
No, I think the best way to represent a soap opera is so it's a normal D&D campaign, And then, middle of second session, you reveal to one of the players that you've always been in love with them, one of the players that you're their secret brother, one of the players that you're their long lost child, and one of the players that you were the one who destroyed their house that one time.
And if you are dating one of your players, that can't be the one that you confess your love to.
Yes, that's
that
the
would
one who
be-
you confess to being their long lost sibling.
Oh, the worst one.
Yeah. This will get a very soap opera vibe to your game very quickly. Yeah, I guess actually, I think the best thing to do is like at the end of the second session, each other player independently and privately confess that you've always been in love with them for years.
Also, tell them that they can't tell the others because you're not
Yes.
ready.
Yeah.
Just see what happens.
Yeah, like you'll get something very soap opera-y. When I die, I want to send like a text to literally every single person on my contact list telling them that I've always been in love with them just to make the funeral as awkward as possible.
And my contacts list definitely includes a plumber that we see once a year.
Mine includes my
A
landlord.
GP. I think my not last landlord, but the one before, because I keep forgetting to delete.
Hmm.
That would
But
be
yeah,
interesting.
so yeah, I think the best way to gradually change your D&D campaign until a place and you realize you're playing a soap isn't to do a soap like in the game of the in the setting game, but to slowly make your D&D group more like a soap opera. Like if one of your players has a twin, find that twin and bribe them to be evil. Like
What
leave it
if,
up to
in my case, two of your players are twins?
separately bribe each of them to be evil, but tell them that the other one is like being the good twin.
That could work.
Yeah. Um, yeah. I think what I've devised here is a great strategy to destroy all your relationships and no longer have friends. Um,
I
at
mean,
which
that's
point,
what a lot of probably bad RPG ideas ultimately are.
you'll be spending a lot less money on D&D supplements.
I don't think you understand how this hobby works.
Alternately, you have free game group, and you try and get it into like oh no, the GM's been cheating on us with a different game group. Insist that you're like D&D game group monogamous.
Tell all of your game groups that they're your favorite,
Yes.
especially if they share players.
Yeah, take every player aside and go, just so you know, you're my favorite player. I'm only continuing this campaign for you. See how it goes.
I love that because you get such different reactions from different players. Like there'd be some that were just like, "Oh no, don't keep going because of me," and then others that are just like, "Yeah."
I am the core of all campaigns I'm in.
Coincidentally, they've been told that by their other GM earlier in the week.
Who you've been colluding with. Take every GM in your city and you all work together, and it will hopefully end with everyone's players fist fighting in a McDonald's car park.
It's perfect.
As I said, I can see no way this can go wrong.
Um, so thank you for listening. Specifically, you're our favorite listener. Don't tell
We're,
the others.
we're only continuing this podcast because of you.
If you want to message us, you can do so on Tumblr at Probably Bad RPG Ideas, Twitter at Bad Probably, or on this thing called email.
It's very new.
At probablybadpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to support us, get access to things like bonus episodes, one shots, and short RPGs that Pencil and our producer slash editor Nick make. You can go to patreon.com/probablybadrpgideas. And
And
remember to have a probably bad day.